send the nacho fries. I have to ask now.
Hey, Facebook, happy Monday, everybody. I always get the exact same order because
I know, but
she knows me. I say the first item and she types in the other four.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, you can add to your order.
No, I get enough. I'd have to take something out and that would confuse everybody.
Oh my gosh.
It's my last night
Well,
at Taco Bell.
I was going to say, you'll be going to a new Taco Bell, so you can maybe start over and have a different. Yes.
Not surprised good. I don't know.
I've never had them. I was just curious if you've had them since you're at Taco Bell, like literally twice, 3 times a week.
Every time. I always get my Fritos burrito, my chili cheese burrito, my spicy tostada, my regular nachos, and a Cool Ranch Doritos taco.
Oh, and not the Cool Ranch one. You got to go with the nacho cheese one.
Yes, I always get Cool Ranch.
Oh, nacho cheese one.
It's soothing.
It is soothing.
Taste buds.
I don't know these words that y'all are saying. So.
Do you get it? Do you get it supreme, Mike?
No.
No, you don't get it with the sour cream?
No.
Why?
I don't need those extra calories. I'm content.
The extra calories are delicious.
I'm already going like 2,000. I don't need to go bigger.
Oh no.
I have to cancel DirecTV. Sorry. And he's on Team YouTube TV.
All right. We have a YouTube channel. So welcome to our channel.
Podcast. All right.
Yes.
So time for questions. Then we're doing a little overrated, underrated on Friday. So here we go. Everybody stay seated. I'm the captain. I will tell you when the boat is in motion.
I think we're underrated. Maybe overrated. Sorry, I meant overrated.
More overrated, but
yes, we're overrated for sure.
Overrated.
But I hit on iTunes. It's like #1 in society and whatever.
Right, society and culture. Society and culture.
Society and culture. Like
I don't know. We were also picked as best summer podcast by Podbean, so there's that too.
I get the summer thing. I mean, I got the captain's hat. You're Disney bounding as Moana.
Exactly.
It's all about summer. Pittsburgh.
I'm just representing Magic for Less Travel.
That's it. I'm just freezing in my basement like always.
We did have one of our best months ever in June, by the way.
No, trust me, I did my part. I was lost on sanity, but I tried. Thanks to my guest.
It was really awesome. So thank you all. Yeah, it was really, really a good June for us. So,
oh, dude, Jeff, I'm gonna save it for the next show because you're hurting my heart with the monorail comment being over.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Oh man, dude, just go for the
Jeff.
Thank you, Alfred. We have 2 other ones, Scott and Steve.
Yes, I'm Moana. Rikki.
All right, we gotta do this. Okay, here we go. This is 1515. Welcome to episode 1515 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Thank you so much for downloading the show and coming in for some great listener questions. You never know. We could be talking Disney Cruise Line. Aye, I'm your captain. Or we could be talking Walt Disney World, Disneyland.
It doesn't help anybody else who's not watching this, by the way.
You got to watch the live video on Monday afternoons because you never know what prop I could have sitting on top of my head. And if
that's why we put all this up on YouTube.
That's true. That's true. Yes. YouTube.
Right. That's youtube.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Exactly. Anyway, if you're just listening to the audio, imagine a captain's hat on top of my head, which you probably saw 1,000 times when I was down at Walt Disney World. This hat did not leave my head very often, and it made some magical moments. So anyway, we're going to have a good time answering your list.
Magical moments? I don't know about that. I don't want to know about that. Yeah, I don't want to know about that.
Keep it to yourself. That could be overrated.
Did you not see the great pictures on the Grand One of Steve and Scott and I? I mean,
we were magical moments I was thinking of. So.
Pretty sweet. White skinny jeans and captain's hats.
Definitely not.
Friendship for life.
It was nice.
It's not a magical moment for me. Let's just say that.
All right. Also joining us, and you heard her diving in with all the snarky comments already. Rikki from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. What's up, Rikki?
Oh my goodness. I don't know anymore. Let's just be honest. No, I just want to say thank you to everyone who wished me happy birthday yesterday. That was very nice of you. So thank you. Thank you.
Dude, how did I miss your birthday? Happy birthday.
No, my birthday's TV Magic. My birthday's tomorrow. But this comes out Wednesday, so my birthday is after. Yeah.
Okay,
you didn't miss it, but when this comes out, you did. Yes.
That's the great thing about, I posted something about podcasting on Twitter the other day, and I said, I just love it because you talk to people all over the world, people like you, people not like you, different topics, and you just get to meet folks from everywhere. And the great thing about podcasting is you can totally shift time, and we never know when we shift time. We can't keep track of where we are, so that's even worse.
That's true. I don't know what time, what day, or where I'm at in the world. That's correct. I have no idea.
That's right. Crystal says, "Happy belated early birthday, Rikki."
Thank you. That works. Yes.
Perfect, Crystal. You're so smart. All right. Also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Happy Wednesday, Pam. What's up?
Happy Wednesday. I'm just, I think when the Catherine's hat comes out, it's going to be a good show, I think.
Yeah, good.
But the question is, do I have on the white skinny jeans? Because I only have my bust in the screen. You can't tell.
I don't want to know if you have them on or not. I don't know what's on the bottom half of your body right now. So
that's an ongoing joke at the agency. We used to have a joke that you had to wear a Magic for Less Travel shirt from the waist up, but we had no qualification. We had no dress code from the waist down because people don't see you.
True. So once you hit the belly button, it was all up to you.
Well, we're that kind of agency, I guess. I guess that makes us a fun question mark. I don't know.
That's what I was looking for when I was looking for a travel agency. I was like, man, as long as I didn't have to wear a shirt on the top, it's all good. Anyway, let's get to the questions before we get any more trouble. We talked about Cody in the ad read at the top. Cody has a question about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Says, hey, Mike, I wanted to start off by saying I'm a huge fan of the show, and it definitely helps bringing some Disney magic to my commutes each day. So thank you. Thanks for taking us along. My girlfriend and I have a trip coming up in the middle of September, and we're both super excited to be attending Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party for the very first time. Yeah. My question for you is, what events are offered during the event outside of the parades and fireworks? Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to have time to check off a lot of the normal attractions and rides? Really appreciate the advice in advance. Cody. Guys, everybody strap yourself in because I want to give you a dose of reality here on this Wednesday show. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party starts in 3 weeks.
Crazy.
Can you believe it? It's almost Halloween at Walt Disney World.
Oh, good night.
Okay. Ridiculous because we were just down there sweating bullets for the 4th of July.
And they'll be sweating bullets in their costumes on August, whatever it is, 20 something, 16th, not even 20, 16th. Okay, got it.
Anyway, they're going in September, so they're all good. I mean, that's practically October 31st in Disney speak. So, Rikki, what can they expect as far as, they know they have the Boo to You parade. We have a new fireworks show this year. We're excited about that. But, walk them through. What can they expect for their very first Mickey's Not So Scary?
So the new fireworks show, just for those who don't know, is called Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular. What a blah name, by the way. Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular. They could have at least gone with Spooktacular, and I don't know. Anyway, and with the new fireworks show, Jack Skellington tells the story of trick-or-treating journey of Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy, who find themselves drawn into a mysterious haunted house. The foursome will go from one room to another, where they come across things like dancing skeletons, waltzing ghosts, and a whole series of Disney villains, because of course. So besides the new fireworks show, there are a number of newer things. There is the Frontierland Costume Promenade, which features Prospector Cactus Flower Kate, who will round up the kiddos. So maybe not for the adults, but
is this an official event? This sounds like something totally made up on Twitter. This is totally made up. That is not true.
This is true.
And encourage them. Prospector from Toy Story.
I know, right?
Prospector Pete.
Yeah,
it is.
You can't just make up a new one.
It's Cactus Flower Kate. So that's her name. Anyway, next we have Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Guests are going to follow the treat trail into the monster world for Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, where you'll be able to interact with the hilarious monsters as they learn about the human world holiday of Halloween. So they're going to incorporate, since it is kind of a live action show, they're going to incorporate the Halloween season in that. Then there's always, of course, we have the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, which is one of my favorites, and that's the Sanderson sisters from the film Hocus Pocus are come back to the mortal world to celebrate Halloween in the only ways that they know possible. It is an awesome show. I love it. It's so fantastic. There is the Scream-O-Ween Dance Party, which takes place at the Rocket Tower Plaza stage in Tomorrowland, and it features Mike and Sully. There's for little ones, there's the Storybook Circus Disney Junior Jam, which is of course another dance party with characters like Fancy Nancy, Doc McStuffins, and Vampirina. The Cadaver Dance, which is a can't miss.
They're awesome.
They happen before the parade, and they happen various times throughout the night too. We don't have the show times for 2019 yet, but we will soon. And the Cadaver Dans are, you know, the barbershop quartet, and they sing ghostly songs, so they're very awesome. They're fantastic. Of course, there's the trick or treating. Yes, as adults, please go trick or treating. It's fantastically fun. Don't miss out.
When else can you do that? I mean, like, I'm a big kid. I mean, if I go around my, you know, we're moving.
Exactly.
Or actually Friday, when the show comes out Friday, if I go around trick-or-treating in my new neighborhood in October, I'm going to be shunned.
Yes.
Look at the guy in the skinny jeans and the captain's hat.
Exactly. They're going to be like, why is this guy out here? Go home.
I know, but you can do it at the Magic Kingdom.
You can. It's awesome. There's lots of character meet and greets. Those are one of the more popular things, especially meeting Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas, or the Seven Dwarfs. Those are usually the two big ones. And Moana, actually. I'm dressed perfectly for that. Moana also typically meets during the Halloween party and the Christmas party, and only at those parties. So again, those three meet and greets always get long lines. So make sure you line up first thing when you get to the park. You can enter the park as early as 4:00. So just keep that in mind. But there are other character meet and greets where characters are dressed in Halloween costumes, that kind of thing. And some unique character meet and greets as well. Like, you know, Alice the Mad Hatter and the Queen of Hearts all meeting together, or Aladdin, Princess Jasmine, Jafar and Abu meeting together, Tarzan and Jane and Turk, that kind of thing. And I guess that's really kind of it. You know, lots of dance parties, lots of fun snacks that you can have. I mean, they always have different snacks that are available just for the Halloween party. So make sure you pick up a few of
carrying
those.
5 pounds of chocolate, but
I know, but you're going to want to grab a snack too.
It's crazy.
Just saying. And there's lots of merchandise that's available as well that's specific for the party. So
let me ask you this, Pam, just real quick in a nutshell. Rikki, you wore me out with all this stuff.
I know there's so much that happens. And you can't.
You have like 5 hours. There's no way you could do it all.
Speaking of that,
any attractions. Go ahead.
The attractions. There are a select number of attractions besides Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor that are now incorporating the Halloween spirit into the attractions. So Pirates of the Caribbean is one of them. Space Mountain is another, and the Tea Party is another. Yes. Well, of course, the Haunted Mansion. I mean, yeah, they're sitting out front at the Haunted Mansion is there's Madame Bernada usually, or Madame Carlotta, and they are out there interacting with guests. They're a great like streetmosphere type character that's sit outside too. So I love the Halloween party, and I'm trying to figure out a way to sneak my way into it this year, even if it is like August. So
September 29th, Rikki, we talked about this.
No, I'm not going September 29th, but if I go for Galaxy's Edge, I'm planning on trying to get in there. So we'll see what happens. 29th. Don't tell Brian. I'm planning on spending money. Don't tell him.
We'll get him a captain's hat. It'll all be good.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this real quick, Pam, and then we'll move to the next question because we don't spend a whole show on one question. But practically speaking, you have 5 hours, you know, to do as much as you can. You're paying big money, you know, you're paying extra there to go to the party. I think it's a good value though, especially first time. It's unbelievable. It's so fun. But practically skip the attractions for the most part. I mean, because there's so many other things you can only do this night. What do you say? Like, give them point them in the right direction.
That's what I tend to do. So I will say, if there are some attractions that you really want to get done, think about doing that during times when it's not so busy. So during the parade, the first parade, it's going to be busy. But I'm really going to focus on, for me, I'm going to focus on the parade because the parade's really good and you can only see that at the party. And the fireworks are incredible. There's no way I would miss the fireworks, period. By the time you see the parade and fireworks, that's a lot of your party time. It really, truly is. You're going to want to see some of those shows. So for me, we try to focus on some of the things that are only done during the parties when we go to the party, because that's what it's all about. That's why we're willing to pay the extra to go there. I want to see the show. Not just the parades and the fireworks, but I want to see the shows. We absolutely want to do some trick-or-treating because that's just fun. As adults, You really don't get to do that very often. If you're into dressing up, this is your opportunity to do so. So make sure you take advantage of that. But I would focus in on the things that are really important for me to see that only take place during the party.
I should totally get a Captain Stubing like rest of the uniform and go as Captain Stubing.
There you go.
So addicted to this.
Those little white shorts that he wore on the love boat.
There you go.
Those
Yes. I think the shorts are essential. Yes, the white shorts. Yes.
The tall socks. In the white.
Yes,
oh yeah.
Yes.
I feel a Halloween party happening this year.
Oh no.
Okay, next. Samantha's got a question in the live chat. Speaking of my hat here, I'm the captain tonight. She says, my boyfriend does not want to go on a Disney cruise because there's no casino. Do we know if there was a casino on the Pacific Princess? I don't think there was either. On the love boat?
There was a casino.
Was there? Yeah, probably. It makes sense. It was 70s.
Yeah.
So if we take a Bahama cruise, is there anywhere we can find a casino for him? I want him to go with me, but I'll leave him behind if I have to. Samantha, you're on the right track. You know what though? Atlantis.
Has one, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've been there once. I didn't gamble. I gambled like $20 and I was done. I'm cheap. Like I have a limit, and if I put in 20, like if I put in like I have $20 to play. Say I play my first $5 and I'm like $2 ahead, I cash out and I'm like, dude, I get a free soda. Like that's how I play. But Rikki, have you been to Atlantis?
No, that's one place I haven't been to. Ironically enough,
sweet casino.
I've just been to explore
Beautiful.
the island, and that's pretty much all I've done. Atlantis is one place I've never been in, because usually now I just stay on the ship. I'm like, cool, extra day on the ship.
This sounds like the perfect solution for Samantha. So Pam, talk to her about Atlantis.
There is. So there are, excursions that take you to Atlantis, but you can also hire either a taxi or there's even boat service to Atlantis from the port. There are so many things to do on a Disney cruise. I don't think that he's going to be missing the casino at all. There are all kinds of activities going on during the day. So you'll be able to do that. Do some trivia. It's sort of like gambling, right? I mean, you might get like a keychain or a medal or something.
High stakes gambling there, fam.
Yeah, right, I know, right?
I've seen feelings hurt over not winning those things.
For sure. Mike almost got killed when we were on.
Was it this hat that went flying across 687, or no, it was the other hat? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But anyways, so I mean, yeah, there's so many activities that you'll be able to do, and guess what? There's lots of relaxing going on too. So just saying, like that could happen. And the great thing about a Disney cruise, I think that they do it as well as many other cruise lines, is there are adult only sections that are available on the cruise that are there just for adults. So the casino is not the only place that's just for adults. It's, you have the Quiet Cove area and the coffee bar and the spa and all of that. So consider that as well.
And I think that a lot of people, like you said, but Pam, they think that Disney cruise equals kids, so that's why they want to go on a ship with a casino. But I could tell you, never having traveled with my own children, that there's so much to do on a Disney cruise. That you maybe don't see children around. I mean, there will be them around, but they're not like a big part of your cruise. And I will say too, if he's worried about the nightlife or something like that, because that's typically when I think about going to a casino, is in the evening, when there's nothing going on. That's completely the opposite of Disney Cruise Line. Is there's something going on that you are going to want to experience, whether it's a show, which are the Broadway caliber shows. I mean, they're not like the shows that they show on other cruise lines, or if it's the the in the nightclubs in the evening, they put on some really awesome little showcases in those nightclubs, whether it's whether it's a comedian or a juggler or a hypnotist or whatever, or even the game shows that they do. The club hosts are always so fantastic. They are so quick-witted. Every single one of them that I've come in contact with has been just extremely quick-witted and left me rolling on the floor. So I'm, if he's worried about maybe being bored in the evening, which is, like I said, when I typically find people kind of want to hit that casino, trust me, he's not going to be bored in the evening. There's going to be things to do. So
shout out to club host hashtag Tony from Spain. He was on our podcast cruise, and the biggest gamble I took when I went to Atlantis the one time was how many people they fit on the water taxi going over.
Yes, exactly.
Going down. I'm like, dude, we don't have to fit as many people as on the Disney Magic on this thing at one time. Come on. But they're like, $5 more. Let's load you on. I was like, oh my God, here we go. Anyway, get to the next question before I get myself in trouble. Nina's got one here in the live chat. Strategy for Rise of the Resistance opening day. Staying at Boardwalk, and thinking of getting to Hollywood Studios at 5 a.m. They have the Christmas party that day too, so hopefully I won't be too tired. Then the Keys to the Kingdom tour the next day at 9 a.m. Good luck, Nina. You're going to be tired. Pam, what would you do, though? I mean, Boardwalk is a great place to stay if you're trying to get to the studios. You can walk right over, and you're the closest of the 3 Epcot, Crescent Lake resorts. 5 a.m.
It is. We don't even know if they're extending extra magic hours to that time yet. We don't know what their plan's going to be. Disney just hasn't been forthcoming in that. So I don't even know what to say at this point. Really, we just don't have a good idea. I think one of the things you're going to want to do is see how things go when Galaxy's Edge opens in August. You're going to want to watch that and, keep an eye on that, see what's going on, see what Disney does in terms of extra magic hours for resort guests. And also, are they going to be using some kind of virtual line or not? We just don't know. We really don't know. And hey, by that point, FastPass could be available for certain parts of it. So we absolutely have no idea. So it's just hard to even guess or tell you what to do. I think you are smart that you're staying at a resort that you can walk to Hollywood Studios, because then you won't have to worry about Disney transportation getting you there. You can just walk over. And I think that's a good strategy. So that we can say was awesome.
Yes.
Good thinking ahead for that part. But as to everything else, we just really don't know at this point.
And we really won't know until the 29th of August. I mean, we'll have a general idea maybe of how things go with the previews a little, but even with that, even with the cast member previews, which are happening the beginning of August, and then once they have the annual pass holder previews that I'm totally hoping I can get into, that's still not a true judge of how things are going to go. And even that first day is not a true judge of how things are going to go. I mean, look, I've been to the opening of both Pandora and Toy Story Land. The first day is just usually bananas. So, and then it kind of regulates after that. So, I mean, we really won't have a good idea of what to expect with Galaxy's Edge until probably about a couple weeks in, once we start seeing what the patterns are. I mean, that's really the difficult part is, everybody is like, oh my gosh, how is it going to be when we get there on our trip? And I'm like, it's really hard to judge because we don't know. Is it going to be like what happened at Disneyland where everybody was too scared to go and now there's no crowds at Disneyland? Or is it going to be just completely crazy? I mean, like we've been expecting this whole time. We won't know until, it actually opens, which is unfortunate for the people who have trips that first couple weeks. So.
But the good news is, here's what I say, she's eliminated a variable, which is Disney transportation.
Yes, that's true.
The thing is, I tried to just look at, practically speaking, what can I control and what's out of my control? A lot of this is out of your control because we don't know. Fast passes, we don't know. I mean, what if Disney surprises us and does extra magic hours and starts opening at 1? Who knows? I mean, they could really get special. Like they could put 7 magic hours and hey, it's midnight. No, they're not going to do that. But I'm just saying, you can't stress those things because they're out of your control. But what you did was you put yourself in the best spot possible. Boardwalk, walk over. You can get there as early as you want. Nobody's going to stop you on that path. I've run it early. So, I think you're in a great spot and just kind of watch Rikki. She'll keep you up to date with all the news, the mouse bites and all that stuff.
Don't you wish they would have done the extra magic hours at night instead of in the morning?
Yes.
Not at the studios. The studios, I hate extra magic hours at night. It's just, there's not enough.
But everybody nobody's going to be there for anything else besides Galaxy's Edge anyway. You might as well have it open in the evening.
I think at least they should have alternated.
I agree. They should have alternated. Yeah. But then they would have had people who are upset going, oh, I thought it was extra magic hours in the morning. But then they have that anyway. So,
me, I go to bed at 10. I get up early. I'm an early bird.
I know. But for the rest of us who don't get up at, 3 a.m. to go running at 4,
what they say? I'm always looking for that worm. I'm up early.
Yeah, I enjoy my sleep.
Okay. Chris has a question. Let's move on. It says recommended areas to request at Saratoga for the best pool and bus access. What I tell my guests at the Magic for Less is when I call in requests, I will tell them I have a guest who's looking for a room that is close to the feature pool and they would like to be close to transportation if possible, because I think what that does, it opens up a lot more options for the room assigner at Saratoga to get you the room you're looking for. If you're asking for like building 2, and this kind of, they can get that, but what it does is if that's unavailable, sometimes I think it throws them off. So Pam, you've done this longer than I. So what do you say in a situation like that?
Say that again, please. Sorry, you dropped out just a little bit.
Chris is looking for the best recommended area to request at Saratoga for the best pool and bus access. And I just say, I always call in and I say, my guest is looking for a room that's near the feature pool and also close to transportation if possible, rather than asking for like a specific, like the paddock or, the grand.
I agree.
I tell them this is what my guest is looking for. Please make it happen.
And that's absolutely the approach to take, is to tell them what you're looking for. When you make the room request, instead of trying to be like, well, I think this is going to be the best because of this building's going to be the best, or this is going to be the best. Tell them what you're looking for, because then they'll try to help you. Mm-hmm. At Saratoga, there's actually not just the main pool, but then there's a few other, there's another feature pool, and then there's other quiet pools, and the different transportation, options could be sort of all over. And what's weird is because it's such a big and spread out resort, I don't feel like there's any one building that is preferable over another. I think the better strategy is to say, I'd like to be near transportation and near a feature pool. And then that will put you there, because you might have a couple different options with that. Now, you can look at the map and see there are areas that are certainly closer to the main building. But depending on how the buses are running too, that can always impact how how well, that transportation is running for you at that particular bus stop.
Yeah. And I like this, I also like to say, what's more important, the feature pool, proximity or proximity to transportation, just so I can give them, I try to give the cast member as much information to put in the notes so that the room assigner knows, they're trying to get in your head. Otherwise they're guessing. If they have a room that's closer to the feature pool and that's more important to you, boom, or do you want to be close to a bus stop because maybe you have mobility issues and you don't want to walk. So I always try to rank that stuff. Okay, next, Autumn's got a question here in the live chat. Planning a trip with my husband over Valentine's Day. We're going to use DVC points for most of the nights, but we're given one free night at any Deluxe resort for a standard view. We're going to try to decide which resort for Valentine's Day, which one. So again, this is kind of a July, is this romantic question?
Right?
I'm not ready for this, man. I'm out of season. I need some spring training. You can't just throw is this romantic on us? So they're getting a standard view room at a Deluxe resort. They need romance. I say the Polynesian. Rikki, what say you?
Well, the Poly was going to be my suggestion as well. Let's see, maybe the beach club. Yeah.
Why? Why is that romantic?
Because you took my Polynesian one, so go with something else.
Wilderness Lodge is also romantic.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Also, let me go with what my original idea was, and I was like, oh no, Mike always gets on me about being hoity-toity, so I was going to say Grand Floridian. So
that's your second home.
That's romantic right there for sure. So sitting in that lobby.
Pam's sitting there in the hole and he's ready to give us the correct answer. What is the correct answer?
That's funny. So I actually was going to say, since you took the Polynesian, I was going to say the Yacht Club. The reason why is I feel like it has sort of an adult vibe to it, right? So I think that makes romance a little easier. It has a great pool, which I think is good. That's good for romance. It's within walking distance of some great restaurants. I mean, you have Yachtsman right there, Flying Fish across the way, and you can walk to Epcot. So I think that these are lots of, in the romance factor, you have a bunch going on there.
All right. Those bonuses is romantic. Now you got to hold off till February. All right. Jim Kelly's in our chat room. It says, hey, BOGP crew, trying to decide between Yak and Yeti or Tiffin for my 40th birthday in February with my wife and 10, 7, and 4-year-old children. Can't decide. Would appreciate opinions. Have to make reservations soon. And happy birthday, Rikki. Thanks. All right. So you got Tiffin's or Yak and Yeti for a family of 5 with kids 10, 7, and 4. I will admit, never been to Tiffin's signature restaurant, and I'm kind of cheap. lately. When you have a family of four, I mean, no kidding. I mean, it is a consideration. You got to think about it. I mean, it gets expensive quickly. And also, I'll tell you, my Pam actually asked, are we going to Yak and Yeti this trip to the sit down restaurant? We've been there twice and she's loved it both times. And my wife isn't real big onto the restaurant. She doesn't care where we eat, but she did ask specifically, are we going to Yak and Yeti? And unfortunately I had to say no, because we just didn't go to Animal Kingdom a lot this trip. But so there you go. That's my romance. I totally dropped the ball and just going to Yak and Yeti. How hard's that? I couldn't even do that. So I feel bad. Next time, definitely going. So I like Yak and Yeti, especially for kids. But Pam, what do you think?
I think there's a lot of Tiffin's for kids to eat. And I think it's just such an overall interesting and good dining experience that I think it's worth going to. It really is. I think, every Disney restaurant is going to have, things to sort of entertain kids and keep them involved, and definitely food items that children can eat. So I wouldn't, sort of shy away from it. The only thing I would shy away from when taking kids is taking them at a time that is way past their bedtime, because I think that just makes for a bad situation for everyone. But I wouldn't be worried about going to someplace like Tiffin's. It's a beautiful restaurant and it has great food. So I'll give it to Tiffin's.
And Rikki, you've been to both, right? Yeah, I know you were kind of a Tiffin's fan, right?
I actually haven't been to Yak and Yeti. I've been to the counter service, but I've never been to the table service. And it's partially because I love Tiffin's so much. I think the food there is really, really, really good. And so that was going to be my suggestion, was Tiffin's. I would look at the menu, see if there's something on there that your kiddos would eat. That's kind of key right there. And then, of course, Disney chefs can make anything for the most part, especially with pickier eaters. So, if you need like mac and cheese or chicken nuggets or something like that, they'll be more than happy to oblige usually. But even at the fancier restaurants. But I think I lean more towards Tiffin's than I would Yak and Yeti for, a big celebration like that.
And also, I would say pair that with maybe, and I know they have the kids with them, but there's the Nomad Lounge, which is adjacent to Tiffin's, is a very cool place, like that outdoor kind of, what'd you call that? Like not a patio, but it's kind of like a deck,
right.
Like, we've gone out there. There's like couches. You can sit around. You can get a leaping lizard, some kind of drink. The kids could get sodas and just kind of chill out for a few minutes. It's a beautiful place. It's a great place right out of Rainstorm. I've done that twice there. Love it. Yep. It's very... Alfred's got a question here, so let's hit this one. Rikki, you kind of talked about this on Wedway Radio this week with Matt, which I really enjoyed that show. He says, do you think Disney goes too far when closing attractions? They're closing the trolley show at DCA, which is disappointing. And I think, I've heard discussions about this, and it is tough because, and Matt made a good point on his show, and he said, Universal brings in a new attraction and there's not such an uproar and an upheaval because if you think about it, Universal doesn't have the deep history of generations going to it. Like you mentioned, I think you talked about, you went on Carousel Progress with your grandma.
Absolutely.
Now, if you don't ever get to go on Carousel Progress again, it feels like, you're losing a piece of your grandma all over again, because you get to have that, you get to kind of have that memory. People sit on benches and people ride this with grandpa and grandpa's no longer with, stuff like that. So real quick, I want to hear both of your thoughts on this. I mean, because I think it's a delicate balancing act, because you got to move forward. Walt wanted the parks to not be completed. They need to always push the envelope, bring in new things, but sometimes there's, finite amount of space. You can't just keep expanding. So what do you do? Go ahead.
I mean, like I said on Wedway, I don't envy the Imagineers at all in making these decisions because, inevitably when you close something, it's going to be somebody's favorite, whatever it is. I still lament the loss of something like the Adventures Club, which was one of my favorite places to go at, downtown Disney. And I think that it could absolutely still work in, Animal Kingdom or, somewhere at Disney Springs or whatever. I think that the idea behind it was a great idea. But, reasons cause things like that to close. And the good news is thanks to things like the internet, I still can experience these attractions or these things for the most part, by watching videos on YouTube or things like that. So that part's good. Of course, back in the day, it was a little bit harder. I mean, we do have some fantastic videos of Horizons and World of Motion, but, it was a lot harder to get that content back then than it is now. So I think through technology, it's definitely helping to alleviate a little bit of it. But that still doesn't mean that I'm okay with them closing something that maybe Walt worked on like, the Country Bears or, something like that, or the Enchanted Tiki Room, the Carousel Progress. Like those to me are bases of what the Disney parks were built on. So to me, like those are a little bit harder to take out than, maybe a show like the new, it wasn't Newsies, but it was basically like Newsies, it's a little easier to take out something like that. I mean, again, I know it's somebody's favorite. So I don't necessarily think they go too far. I think they just have a really, really tough balance that they have to walk. So
I agree. I love our chat room too. So they're just having fun here too. But no, I totally agree with that. And I think too, the thing is, for example, I got excited when they announced the changes to Epcot at D23 a couple of years ago. Epcot's a lot of concrete, it's a lot of pavement. It's going to be more of a green space. It's going to be more comfortable. It's going to be more alive. It's going to have just kind of I think a more comfortable feel as you move through Future World. But then, reality starts to set in, and like,
yeah, that's true.
Fountain of Nations is going away. Like,
I know, right?
Like,
that hurts, yeah.
It's a water fountain, but like that is like the percussion of Future World. That's the soundtrack of Future World. Yeah. I stop and I see that every race from marathon, we finish in Epcot, it's like, it's always there. It's like an old friend, it's like Illuminations is going away. And I've started to kind of make my peace with that. Cause we were talking about this at church with listener Sandy when we were doing the, like you get up and you talk for 10 minutes and meet the visitors and all that, instead we all get together and huddle and talk Disney for 10 minutes. Yeah. She's like, what are you doing about Illuminations? I'm trying to get down there one more time to see it before it closes, but I was like, we'll always have the soundtrack, and that's kind of the big part of it. Like I always have the soundtrack no matter what. I have the memories. So I'm okay with it, I guess, now. But, Pam, what do you think? I mean, because things have to go away a lot of times for new things to come in, and we need new blood in the parks.
Yeah, this show has been there since 2012 when California Adventure reopened. And I think, going on 7 years is a long time for a show like that. It really, truly is. Walt said it a bunch of times. He never wanted the theme parks to be like a museum of things, right? You don't want things to just stay there in and out. So if we want some new things to come in, that means sometimes eliminating other things. And I think that Disney gets a lot of criticism every time they eliminate something. It's always, you can pretty much predict how it's going to go, right? Mm-hmm. They announce that they're closing something. People are mad because it's a decision based on money. You can't do that. It's a beloved attraction show, whatever. You know what I mean? There's just a list of things that you go down, even if they were closing one thing and opening another. And by the way, let's say this is part of like the whole Marvel Land thing. How much are they spending on the Marvel Land thing? You know what I mean? So in the end, is it really a money-making decision? Just all of those things. Even if they opened 8 things and closed one thing, it would still be a money decision, like a decision based on money. So whatever. But I understand, people, that's the thing. That's the reason why we go back to Disney, right? We're really passionate about different things. We're passionate about Disney. They do take spots in our memories. We make memories there and whatever. But I always think about it is they're going to put something else in and it gives me the opportunity to make new memories. And I look forward to that because in the end, I trust Disney and what they're going to do. So.
And I was thinking about that, kind of situation today. Mallory and I were watching, there was a high school all-star baseball game. They were playing at Wrigley Field. And so I talked to her about how every year our baseball team in high school would play at Busch Stadium. And I got to pitch off the Busch Stadium mound and I got to bat and I hit one in the gap and it went to the wall. But the thing is, it was at the old Busch Stadium. Like we've had 3 Busch Stadiums. It was in Busch Stadium 2. And so while I would love to be able to go to a ball game in that ballpark and be like, I pitched off that mound. That mound doesn't exist anymore, but I've shown her pictures. And so we got to have that kind of conversation. But you know what? The new Busch Stadium is superior. Like the new ballpark we have now, it's better. It's more comfortable. It's got better views. It's good. Things improve, but you just got to kind of have the memory and move on, I think, with a lot of things. So
that's true. You do. I mean, I understand that it is what it is that people really do become attached and we all do, but your new favorite thing could be going in there soon. So.
All right. I got the captain's hat on, so got to get back to a question here for a cruise line. And hashtag Scotty G in the house, one of the other captains. So 2/3 of the captainship is in the show right now. So, and Steve is in your house, so we're technically all aboard. We can travel. All right, Andrew's got a question from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, my husband's 7-year-old daughter and I are going on our second Disney cruise this December. A 7-night very maritime cruise on the Fantasy. We're traveling with some extended family who have not cruised with Disney before. We would like to go to Palo brunch for my aunt's 70th birthday. What do you think the chances are that we can get a reservation for 8? I assume we can't book a reservation for everyone during our Silver Castaway Club booking window. Should I book a reservation for our husband and I during our window and hope everyone else can get it during general booking? Would we still be able to sit together? Thanks, Andrea. I know, Pam, that because on these podcast cruises, we try to get lots of groups in Palo for dinner, for brunch and all this. And we have gold, platinum, silver, diamond, purple, whatever, asphalt. I don't know. We have all kinds of
asphalt's a new one.
Well, that's like when you haven't actually.
It's a money savings measure.
Yeah, asphalt. Yeah, that's it.
I just invented the new Castaway Club.
I like it.
Give her some advice, Pam, when you have different groups at, different Castaway Club levels.
So I say, first of all, whatever you can get when your window opens up, go ahead and get that. So if you have people who are at varying Castaway Club levels, platinum, gold, silver, asphalt, go ahead and go ahead. As each window opens up, each one should get it. So the platinum person should get it, and then all the way down to the asphalt person should get it too. So see what you can get. You can try to pair them up. If you can't, once you get on board, you can go ahead and get with the dining folks when you get on board and see what they can do to help you.
I will never. You just brought up a memory from the podcast cruise, Pam, when we were talking with the Palo/Remy folks down in front of Enchanted Garden to modify all of our reservations.
Yes,
I thought we may get murdered because there was a long line behind us, and it took us quite a while to get everything.
And it was not us. It was totally them. I was just like, dude. Like, I roll up and he's like, I was hoping that you would come. And I was like, what?
Well, because he's like, we had so many different, our reservations, we had a lot. Obviously everybody that sailed with us kind of knows what's going on. And a lot of folks were dining at Palo and Remy like multiple nights on a 5-night cruise. And then we were trying to get reservations combined so we could all sit together and dine together. But the thing was, I remember looking at Scott and I said, dude, we should get out of here, because I was scared to death people were going to kill us, because it wasn't our fault that it was taking long, but it's just like their computers don't run very fast to modify.
No,
he was a nice guy, doing a good job, but I think it was just the limitations of the technology,
the system, for sure. And it was like here there are all these things that we confirm with Disney Cruise Line prior to getting on the ship, and then we get there, and my seating, which is attached to everyone who we're sailing with, they sat me at a table, but with my family by myself.
Yeah, that was weird. I know, it's totally rolling the dice. So
it is. That's crazy.
Right, last question of the day from Marlisa. She says, gondola question, and she spelled out with lots of O's. How does traveling on them work? For instance, do you get on at Caribbean Beach? Can it be a direct shot to Hollywood Studios or Epcot, or are there transfers involved? PSA, I've never gone skiing, so I'm not too familiar with this type of transportation, but I'm excited. So here's the good news. I don't think you got to get on it like you do with your skis, where you just stand there and it kind of hits you in the butt and you sit down and go up the mountain. That's what they do in Hidden Valley here in St. Louis. And you would see people just bite it and they'd have to shut it down. It's a mess. I think it's going to be similar to if you've ever been on Cali River Rapids, where the whole station kind of rotates with or like Spaceship Earth kind of thing, Rikki? You're kind of giving me a yes or no. I'm trying to make a good comparison of what it's going to be like.
So I think now we don't know 100% because again, it hasn't opened. Haven't seen, we've seen the gondolas go on, but we haven't seen like how the whole process works. And Disney's very quiet about really how the whole process is going to work. There's so many questions about the Skyliner, and the hard part is I wish I had answers to them all, but until either one of us gets on the Skyliner or to find out the information, or Disney releases it, it's so hard to be able to answer all these questions. But from what I think I understand about the Skyliner, I believe you have to get off at Caribbean Beach.
They have said that. There's a transfer system. So
correct.
There's actually 2 lines.
Yes.
So like the monorail system, there's going to be 2. Yes. There's going to be 2 lines, and one of them is the station that you'll have to hook up to if you want to do that.
Correct. because the one will take you to that you can go to Hollywood Studios from there, or you can go to Epcot, or you can go to Epcot slash I think the Riviera, and or you can go to Art of Animation / Pop Century. Yeah.
But I believe the actual station is at Riviera or the Caribbean Beach area. So I think at that point you'll be able to sort of choose where you want to go to.
I'm looking at the map, or at least what has been the map online, and it looks like Caribbean Beach, the actual Caribbean Beach stop is the one that you're going to have to transfer at, not the Riviera one. So,
right.
Yeah.
Wait, we have breaking news.
Oh, no.
Hashtag Tony from Spain is tuned in right now to be our guest.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
So everybody, let's do Baby Shark for Mama Pollo.
Oh, that's
a little
funny.
chick for all the games. No, thanks, Tony. We had a great cruise, and it was because of all the energy you brought us. And I'm sure you didn't want to see any more of these hats cruising around the Disney Dream. So glad you're in here. All right, well, that's gonna do it for today's show, and can't wait for the gondolas. We're very close to that. Very close to Rise of Resistance, and actually even closer to just Galaxy's Edge opening in general next month.
Sure.
4 weeks now, 4.5.
Oh, what is that? Remember, like when
It's
it was
almost Halloween
announced,
and it's almost Star Wars time.
what? It's gonna take so long. We're gonna have to wait forever. And now, like literally, we are almost here. That's so insane to me that we're gonna get to experience this land here. I mean, in a month. So
Oh, and also, well, I'm gonna see if you use this story for our ad here. Don't forget today's show, as always, on a Wednesday, brought to you by virtualmickey.com, home of great iPhone apps like Theme Park News, Disney Edition. This is where you can get all your Disney news in one app to read instead of the cereal box every morning as you're getting ready to attack your day. And I did read in the Orlando Sentinel today, you can get a job as a gondola operator for $13 an hour.
I did see that.
Man, I love me some gondolas, and if they're going to pay me to drive them, I don't know. I might move.
I did see that. Yeah,
That's probably not the story you had. So what do you got?
No, you can go with that story. That's fine.
No, that's what I read.
So I have the NBA store is now open at Disney Springs. So if you have an NBA fan in your family, like I do in mine, you can go there for a collection of merchandise, from clothing to purses to backpacks to pins to toys to collectibles. Special character designs with Disney characters are going to be available. NBA experience logoed items are going to be available. I like this. There's going to be a D-Tech on demand station there, and you're going to be able to do customized magic bands, okay, and smartphone cases, which you've known about. They just introduced the magnets, and now apparently you can do ornaments and water bottles, which I think is really interesting. Those two things really struck my fancy. I was like, I want to see what those look like. And of course, if you want a Mickey Mouse ear hat, you can get one that looks just like a basketball. So that's
Wow.
Or they're going to sell Donald Duck butt hats.
I already have those. You can get those anywhere else, but not here. So anyway, the NBA store is now open, but the NBA experience doesn't open until August 12th. So again, another thing that's opening here in the near future, but in August. Everything's opening in August.
Yeah, that's actually on a few weeks. That's actually real soon. What, the 12th? The 7th? 12th. Something's the 7th, though, too. I don't know what's the 7th. I got to check my calendar. Anyway, get all the news and find out the dates, because you know what? You need a calendar on your wall lately. I mean, you just have like a big, just white wall and just put, okay, Disney, let's see, NBA Experience, Galaxy's Edge, Rise of Resistance, gondolas, first Halloween. It's full. I mean, I've already filled up all fall in practically half a winter. That's all you need. Anyway, virtualmickey.com to grab Theme Park News Disney Edition free app for your iOS devices. Also, don't forget to check out the Amazon affiliate link and support the show that way. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at BeOurGuestPod. And if you check out at BeOurGuestMike on Instagram and Twitter and go back a little ways, you're going to see all the fun we had on the podcast cruise with hashtag Tony from Spain. And I think I got a picture with Mama Pollo as well. So we're going to be back again on Friday. We're talking underrated and overrated at Walt Disney World. Experiences, restaurants, snacks, all kinds of stuff. So we hope you tune in for that one. We're going to have a good time just talking Walt Disney World with you. So for Pam and Rikki, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let me save that one. Hey, Tony from Spain. That's fun. Let's see. I swear I'm going more blind every day.
Where are your glasses or contacts,
I have
sir?
my contacts in. I'm just getting more like I got to stand like a
No,
month.
you have the same pair in that you've had for like ever.
No,
Again.
but as you get older, you lose the ability to process through your contacts. So, like, you may, this is what's happening to me, Mike. And I assume it's happening to you. So, I can see far away with my contacts. My contacts make it possible for me to see far away. When I don't have my contacts in, I have no problem reading or seeing things close to me. But when I have my contacts in, you lose the ability to process through that. I know, right?
It's so weird because it's the same for me. It's happening quickly too. It's
I know.
I know. I didn't have this going on. Now it's like when and the funny thing is, I'm getting it because I made fun of Pam because it hit her first. The phone, I'd be like, God, you're gonna have to get like an arm extension to be able to read your phone. She'd be like, way out here, and then it happened to me. I'm like, oh.
When I have my glasses on, anytime I'm doing something close, they're on top of my head, because that's how I can see. Like, I don't need the glasses. So basically, my eye doctor keeps trying to bring one of my contacts down lower and lower and lower. You know what I mean, in the processing thing, but it does happen really fast.
It's coming, Rikki. It's coming for you.
I know. I got a little time left.
Laugh now, kid.
I don't have a birthday tomorrow.
It is weird how fast it happens. And then, like, at first I was like, do I need something to help me read? But no, when I don't have my glasses on, it's completely fine. So it's so weird.
It is. So
it's time to get old.
It is, man. It's brutal. It is. All right, here we go. 15, 16. Welcome to episode 1516 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. This is a big weekend for us. We are moving from the studio, the house where we did every podcast episode so far. And I'm crossing my fingers. And I have my dad on call, who's the official radio engineer for the St. Louis Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, to make sure that we are up and running again by Monday for our next podcast recordings, because that's the first thing I'm working on in the new house. I got to have the new studio set up so we can podcast and have a good time, because that's where my priorities are. The bed can wait. We got to have the computer running. So we will see. It's going to be exciting coming from a new place. A little bit west and south of our current location out in St. Peters, Missouri. So excited for that. So we're going to get to today's show. We're going to have a good time. Just kind of talking Walt Disney World, fun topic on a Friday, as we do sometimes, and have some fun. Overrated and underrated, kind of like New England sports. Overrated. No, just kidding. I'm just trying to get everybody going here.
Wow, you're already ticking people off. Good job, Mike.
Boston Red Sox. No, just New England Patriots. Boston Bruins. Just kidding. All right. Anyway, joining me today from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. And I was just kidding. We need you to keep tuning in and downloading. We have Rikki. What's up, Rikki?
Oh my gosh. Just looking forward to a fun weekend. That's for sure. So it's going to be good.
So where's the senior picture circuit taking you this weekend? Do you know?
Nashville.
Really? You're going to Las Vegas?
Yes, I am. We're going to meet the parents halfway, and we're going to have a good time in Nashville. So,
you know what? I've only driven through Nashville a million times. I've never really stopped there. So they have like a strip of all the country clubs. Do you go into those places? Like like Memphis has Beale Street. So they have something like that.
Yeah, they have the strip where you go along, go to a bunch of bars and hear music and see bachelorette parties, and as they walk down the street and are incredibly intoxicated. So,
what is there to do? Like, what's your favorite thing to do in Nashville? Because I mean, it's 5 hours from here. I should go there sometime.
I mean, it is fun to just experience like some of the music at some of the bars. We found last time we were there we happened past Margaritaville, and there was this really awesome young girl. I mean, she was probably 8, 9, and she had this amazing voice, and so I actually started following her on Instagram because I was just in awe of her talent, and she's going to be somebody someday, I hope, because she's that talented. But just stopping and hearing some of the musical performers, and dining a little bit, and just enjoying some of the shops and stuff like that, because you've got like the pecan roll shop that you have to go into.
No, it's pecan. Are you not a Southerner.
Sorry. So you've got that, and there's just a ton of stuff to do. I mean, just to experience, and there's shows and everything like that. So we just go, and since it's the halfway point for mom and dad, to us, it's just kind of a good spot to go when we want to hang out with each other. So.
Apparently, it is a big bachelorette spot.
It's a huge bachelorette spot. We actually play the game of count the bachelorette parties to see how many that we see. So yeah, we get into the upper, 10s, 20s, 30s. Yeah, they get really high. But mom has a claim to fame. One of the times we were there, we were walking across the street, like walking across from us was Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. She shouted at him, and
hey.
At least we hope it was Mickey Dolenz, or it was some random guy who just knew he looked like Mickey, so he's just waving at people.
All right, we're expecting some pictures from the weekend. So
you'll get some for sure.
All right, also joining us here, the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Happy Friday, Pam. Let's have a good weekend.
Happy Friday. I am so excited to just, get to talk Disney today, because I feel like that we have weeks where we don't really, don't talk about Disney as much as I want to, which seems weird since I do it all day. But I feel like the past couple of weeks I haven't had the opportunity, and I get to do a really cool thing at the end of, I don't even know, it's next week. I was trying to think, when do I do this? I'm doing 2 Disney Institute classes in Disney World. I know, right? Yeah. So anyways, they're 2 all-day classes I signed up for, and we're doing them with a couple other leaders from the Magic for Less Travel. So we'll come back with some new and interesting stuff, I guess.
Fun.
You learn how to make specialty cupcakes?
I don't know.
Please.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be a class I'd sign up for. No, they're Leadership Institute, and that'd be fun. So
yeah.
Because really, nobody does leadership like Disney. We talk about this a lot within the agency, but I think just everybody that goes to the Disney destinations, especially if you work in any kind of a business or education, you see that they are great as far as setting expectations and just how the guest or the customer experiences what they experience. I think that's what you're going to kind of see. I love that kind of stuff.
We are. Yeah. So we'll see what it's like, but yeah, it's a great opportunity. So I'm glad to have the chance to do it.
All right, let's have some fun here. We're going to talk overrated and underrated things at Walt Disney World. Let's start with overrated. And I mentioned my example when I talked to the ladies earlier, and this one
stole it from all of us is basically what he's saying.
Here's the thing though. I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on this one. Now, I think a lot of people are going to want to wring my neck and call me out on Twitter, which might, if you want to call me out on Twitter, I'm at Mike, tall guy Mike. So
I thought you were going to give out my name, so I'm impressed you didn't do that, actually.
So just saying, I think you gotta be smart about these kind of shows, because you're going to maybe step on toes.
You are.
It rhymes. You got to be careful on these type of shows. You're going to step on toes.
There you go.
There you go.
I guess you've been drinking. There you go.
No, that's funny. It's the hat. Anyway, the Dole Whip, overrated. You know what? Here's the thing. I can have a Dole Whip maybe once a year on a hot summer day. It does kind of refresh, but I'd much rather have an ice cream sandwich or a Mickey ice cream bar or an All-American sundae. Of course, it is more substantial. And I get that it's refreshing and it's light, and you got the Dole Whip float, that's what actually, if I get one, I get a Dole Whip float. But man, I don't know. I think too, some of these specialty desserts are getting out of hand, but I don't want to go too far yet. It's kind of crazy. I'm going to say the Dole Whip is overrated.
Yes.
So Rikki, agreed. What do you think? So you and Pam said that all 3 of us kind of said that we agreed that Dole Whip a little bit overrated. All right. So Rikki, give us something that you think's overrated.
All right. So it's kind of a twofer. I think that the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is overrated. And with that, I also kind of think that New Fantasyland is a little overrated too. And it's just because, everybody, has to have that Seven Dwarfs Mine Train fast pass, and it's the end all be all. And if I don't get on Seven Dwarfs, my vacation is ruined. And I can tell you, I haven't been on Seven Dwarfs in a fair number of trips in the number of times that I've gone down there. And it's still ridiculously difficult to get a fast pass. And I'm like, when I get on it, I'm like, okay, this was nice, but I don't think it's worth the wait, nor do I think it's worth the stress that people put on themselves to get a fast pass for this attraction. I mean, the scene with the dwarves is really cool, and I really like that scene. I again wish that there was kind of another end scene that went with it, that, you know, there was another second scene, but given the space constraints that they had for it, look, I understand they threw that in as a, hey, we were going to do these other things, but now we're going to do the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train instead because we want something that appeals to everyone, not just little girls. So I get that. But I think it's incredibly overrated. And with that, I also think a lot of New Fantasyland is overrated. You know, I don't go to Enchanted Tales with Belle ever, because it's super awkward for me to go there with me and Brian, because Brian inevitably gets picked as one of the guards, and
I'm always a knight. Yes.
And he's awkward because he doesn't want to be picked, and he doesn't have the choice to not be picked. So like, it's not like he can say no. So like, he has to go do that, and so like, we don't go do that. You know, Be Our Guest is fine. I think it's a fine restaurant. I think that it's maybe lost a little bit of its luster over the years. And, you know, if people still lose their mind about having getting to dine there. And I'm just like, okay, well, there are a lot of other great restaurants at Walt Disney World. So maybe you try one of those. And, you know, I like the Under the Sea, but it's, you know, again, it's a nice solid ride. I do like it. I just don't feel like maybe a lot, I don't know, I don't feel like enough substantial was added with New Fantasyland, and I know that a lot of people are yelling at me right now, but that's okay.
Here's the thing, I agree with you about 75% of what you said. Like, the thing about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, though, it's a dark ride and it's a coaster and it's very family friendly. Everybody can ride it. That's the popularity.
Yes, no, I get that.
It's really neat to. I enjoy that. I think I disagree with you on that one. I don't think Seven Dwarfs overrated, but I mean, that's what this is all about. I mean,
that is what it's all about. I don't know. I just can't. I would rather ride Big Thunder than Seven Dwarfs at this point. It's a lot easier to get on, and even that one is a hard one to get a fast pass for sometimes. But I would rather ride Big Thunder than Seven Dwarfs, and that says a lot to me.
But here's the thing, and Pam, I promise we're gonna get yours, but I gotta say this because one of my underrated attractions was Enchanted Tales with Belle.
You're underrated?
Yes, it is so unique, and people walk past it constantly, and you don't even know it's there. And when you, you gotta, maybe it makes a difference if you have like a kid with you as you go through it. Like, because when Mallory was little, and we went in there, and she was picked to be like the teacup or something when she was like 6 or 5 or so, I don't know, whenever it was open, and I was the guard, and it was, you know, she got to dance with Belle and got the picture, and I just think that it is so uniquely Disney. Like, you're not going to find. Because they tell the story, you know, I mean, it's a great storytelling. It's a meet and greet. It's an experiential type thing. And you got walking through the magic mirror, which is kind of magical. It's kind of got a lot of stuff going on. I think it's very,
it's very cool in what they do. It's just not for everyone. And again, it's not for our family where we are, and so it's easy for me to skip past it because I'm like, well, there's really no reason for me to go in this.
I get it. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I would.
If I had a kid, then yes, absolutely, it would completely be an underrated attraction at that point, because I agree with you in that regard. I think that it is a very unique meet and greet type experience, but in my life circumstance where I am, I think it's all kind of overrated. So yeah,
I agree. All right, Pam. So what do you say is overrated?
So overrated, I will say, ready for this? This is another food one that some people are going to be mad about. Plastic cheese.
Yes.
Oh, no, because I don't ever have it anywhere else. I save it for Disney. That's why.
But even at Disney, it's not good plastic cheese. No. It just doesn't have enough taste.
You realize what you just said? Like,
I know, right?
It's not good plastic cheese.
I know, but the lack of flavor, like the texture is right in terms of plastic cheese, but the lack of flavor is there. Like, if I'm gonna have plastic cheese, I'm all in. I want it to be salty.
Yeah.
I want it to have a cheesy like flavor to it.
That's great.
And I want it to be something I want to dip a whole bunch of stuff in, right? The stuff at Disney, although the consistency of it is right, the texture of it is correct, I just feel like the taste of it is off. It's not quite good enough. And I don't know what it is. It may be that it's not salty enough. It may be that it just doesn't have enough flavor, but it just feels kind of blah to me. So I think the plastic cheese at Disney is sort of overrated. Like I'm looking for more of a, I don't know, like
No,
a
I get it. Like
nacho cheese or a cheese whiz or a something,
celebrate my birthday, and like the cheese that they make in the in the fondue thing, it's amazingly good cheese.
Right.
Like, take that kind of cheese and it's not that much to make it taste good. Like
no, but yes, like we make fondue like at home. Like if we're having a get together, we do fondue frequently, and like it has like a flavor to it. It tastes like it tastes like cheese. Like plastic cheese doesn't even taste like cheese. But even if it were going to be super fake cheese, it just still doesn't have enough of a flavor. So I don't know. I just want it to be. I want it to be better. I want it to be better plastic cheese.
Here's a secret, because I used to run a skating rink, and what we did for our nacho cheese, which was basically the same thing, we got a big like 5. It was like a soup can, but it was gigantic of cheese from like the distributor.
Yes.
What we did was we took the jalapeno juice and poured into the cheese, and it gave it some kick. Not the jalapenos, just the juice that like the jalapenos were in. That's what cheese. Yeah, I'm saying. You're welcome. You're welcome, right? Is that from a while?
Yeah, maybe something. Yeah, you need something that does it.
Oh.
All right, Pam, we're bouncing back to you. Give us something that's underrated.
So something that I think is underrated is the amount of time that you spend outside of the parks. And I just truly do. And I know we talk about this all the time, but let's just say in particular, the time you spend at your resort is sort of underrated. They have so many great activities there, not just in the evenings. They have activities throughout the day at the pool. It gives everyone a chance to relax, which I think is really important. They have great pools. So many of them have, the value resorts don't have a slide, but all the other, the moderates and the deluxe villas all have a slide and theming. There's great restaurants and dining and all of that stuff. And I think that I completely understand why you're focused on, getting to the parks and doing stuff there, but there's so much outside the parks. So
I was going to say resort day. So that's exactly what you just said. We think so much alike. I love that. 1,500 shows does to you.
Yes.
Rikki, give us something that's underrated. You're going to say Disney bounding, right? Or something. You're bounding.
No. I'm actually going to say, again, it's kind of another twofer. I am going to say the Tree of Life Awakening at Disney's Animal Kingdom. If you have not caught the show, you are absolutely, completely missing out. I am 100% behind this. The Tree of Life Awakening is just this beautiful... there are these like 5-minute-ish stories that are told on the Tree of Life using that projection technology, that projection mapping technology that they have. And the way they tell these stories, I mean, they are so just beautifully gorgeous in the art that they have on the tree, and how they can make these projections just morph into these characters. I mean, they're not there, but they look like they're really there. Especially like in those in-between times when you are waiting for one of the shows to take place. And there are about, I want to say 5 or 6 shows that take place over the course of, an hour or so. But when you're watching in between those times, like they'll have a projection of the animal that's on the tree, and then all of a sudden that animal will move, and it's not moving in real life, but like it really looks like it's moving. So I love to sit there and watch. There's actually, I don't want to give away my spot, but there's some great spots on the backside of the Tree of Life too. So you don't just have to be there right in the front where everybody congregates. There's some great views all around the whole tree, because now they show the projections on pretty much, I think, all sides. So, just stop, grab yourself a snack, grab some popcorn or a Mickey bar, which is probably one of the other things that a lot of you think is overrated, and just sit there and watch the show, because it's so totally worth it. And then Animal Kingdom at night overall. I mean, I love Animal Kingdom at night. Now, I know in the past I was not all about Animal Kingdom. If you go back and listen to shows, I was like, okay, Animal Kingdom's just all right. But Animal Kingdom at night, once the heat starts to wane a little bit and the sun starts to set and it starts to get cooler, Animal Kingdom at night is seriously, it's one of my favorite time. It is my favorite time of being at Animal Kingdom because there's just so much vibrancy going on at Animal Kingdom and you don't feel like you're dripping sweat everywhere either. So that part's nice too. So
And Pandora comes alive at night.
Yes, it does.
I love this crazy show. Here's my underrated for the first time around because I don't know how many times we're going to get. Polite Pig at Disney Springs. I know here's the issue with Disney Springs. And this is a great issue for Walt Disney World to have. When we used to go to downtown Disney, I'd always go to Earl of Sandwich.
Correct.
Or I would go to... I can't even think where else I would go. I'd always go to Earl of Sandwich when I went to downtown.
It was pretty much Earl of Sandwich.
That was like my jam. And like, I don't ever go back. I haven't gone back for a couple trips because, man, when you go to Disney Springs, not only do you have a lot of great table service type restaurants like the Boathouse, and now you have Haleo, and you have so many of them, the Edison, Maria and Enzo's. But you have so many like fast casual places to eat that are really good. Deluxe Burger, Splitsville, Blaze Pizza. You have Polite Pig. Just countless places to try that there's really never enough time to go to all these places. But Polite Pig, man, when we went there, and I don't hear much buzz. That's why I'm saying it's underrated. I mean, Pam, I know you talk about it a lot because it's one of your favorites too. But it's just really good barbecue. And it's a step up from like your typical, quick service dining experience. But the food was so sneaking good and the atmosphere was great, especially on a busy night at Disney Springs. I can take a little bit of time to get your food, but if you want to get a drink and have some good old American barbecue, Polite Pig's where it's at. So what do you think about it?
It's so good. The brisket, by the way, is just awesome. Their drinks are great. First of all, they're carrying great beer, but they also have drinks on tap. Like totally good drinks on tap. So, I mean, they do a lot of good stuff with that. I have to tell you though, the side dishes, I mean, as good as the entrees are, the side dishes support those entrees and are just as good. The Brussels sprouts, bam, so good. Mac and cheese, awesome. Cauliflower, really good. So just lots of good things to eat there. Really great restaurant. And by the way, let me remind people, this is a quick service credit.
Yeah.
I mean, can you even sometimes think about getting the quick service plan just because I'm going to make out when I go there. I'm just telling you, by the time I get a drink and the food, it's going to be so worth it. There's lots of good places to use your quick service credits. But this is a great one. It's just the atmosphere is great. I love sitting at the tables where you can see them sort of making the food back there. It just is good. It's just a good location, really, truly is. It's solid. I hardly even want to say that, though, because I don't want it to get any busier than it is.
I know, seriously. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but I don't want it to get worse. The thing is, a place like that, a place like Flame Tree at Animal Kingdom, like the smell draws. So it's like,
that's true.
It's like a cartoon. Like it just sucks you right in because it smells so good. And
I feel like,
go ahead.
I feel like, that overall, that's something that Disney Springs is very underrated for at this point. For so long, we were like begging for any quick service option. I mean, really, it was pretty much just Earl of Sandwich. I mean, there wasn't much in the way of quick service for a long time at Disney, at downtown Disney / Disney Springs. And then once they started working on it, I'm almost positive that they said to most of those restaurants, look, if you're going to come in here, you got to have a table service and a quick service option, because most of them do at this point. So, I think that the number of quick service options that there are available at Disney Springs is just an amazingly abundant amount now, way more so than there was. So I think that the quick service dining in general is super underrated at Disney Springs.
Well, on top of that, even it's like, you got table service, you got quick service, but also you have the places that are more snacky, like the poutine place, like the BB Wolf's, like you have things that, it's like, it's different levels. Like, I mean, that's just something like grab and go and snack as you move through, check out the live entertainment. It's Disney Springs. And I am not a shopper, but I dig Disney Springs. It's got a very cool vibe to it. All right, Rikki, make some more people mad. Give us one more overrated thing at Walt Disney World. What do you think?
Oh no, now you're gonna make me
I mean,
think
you've
about
already kicked off the whole new Fantasyland
I
thing.
mean,
So
I
there you go.
absolutely have. So, I mean, I might as well go for broke and tick off people at Animal Kingdom. I really think Flight of Passage is overrated. I'm not gonna lie. I think that it's a good attraction. Again, I don't think it garners the needs to garner the weights that it does. I know that it's new. I get that. I just don't. I think that that pre-show is atrocious. I'm sorry. I really
He's supposed to be acting a little casual. That's the
no,
whole thing. He's not
no,
casual. He's acting
no.
casual.
That pre-show is atrocious. I'm sorry. It is terrible. And however they signed off on that, I don't know because it's awful. And then, I hate the part where you're clearly waiting for a room and they have to try to clean the bugs off you or whatever it is. And you're just like,
You can't take in a foreign substance into the simulator. Come on.
anyway,
Rick.
I dislike the pre-show. There's nothing redeeming for me about the pre-show. I think that the ride itself is fine. I think it's very cool. But again, I don't think it's the best ride in Walt Disney World. I don't think it's the best ride in Orlando. There are definitely other options. They're over at that Universal Park that we don't talk about. But I definitely don't think that Flight of Passage even comes close to the best attraction in Orlando and at Walt Disney World. So I'm sorry. I've ticked you all off today. I've done my job.
No, people in the live chat are agreeing with you.
Thank you. Thank you. I do not get people who come off that attraction saying that was the best attraction I've ever been on, or they're crying or whatever. And I'm like, did I say the same thing that you guys did? Because I don't have that kind of emotional reaction to this.
I just feel sorry for Brian because you don't beat around the bush. You go right for the jugular.
I do. I go right at it, man. Let's go.
That was rough.
I'm a terrible human being.
And see, Pam does it in a more tactful, like she's very casual. Like she says, it could be better. It's not my favorite. It's not Pam favorite.
It's not something that Rikki Niblett has.
Why do you wait 5 minutes to ride Flight of Passage?
It's not a trait for Rikki Niblett. Let's just put it that way.
No, because I try to present stuff in a way that people will listen to. Because that's my goal. I keep my goal in
Disney
mind.
Institute. That's it. She's skills.
That's right. That's why I'm not invited to the Disney Institute and Pam Forrester is right there. That's the reason why.
I think I just try to keep my goal in mind. So my goal is to affect change in a way that people will listen to. So
my goal is to irritate the heck out of people.
I actually love Flight of Passage, I will say, even though at times it makes me feel a little nauseous. I love the attraction. I loved it 100 times more than I thought I would. I just, I find it really immersive and I enjoy it. I know that, some people don't, but I think that I think it's cool. I really do. I really like it. So I don't know, but
and you know what? Anna in the chat says she thinks that Navi River Journey is underrated. And I agree.
Sure.
Yeah, I enjoy that better.
It's beautiful.
So it's very I think
very pretty.
You're showing off, and I kind of like the soundtrack too.
Yeah.
All right, so give us one more overrated thing.
An overrated thing, I'm gonna say here is one. Chef Mickey's. Period. It's just.
I agree.
Like so many of these things, and I think what makes things, in my eyes, overrated is the importance that other people put on them, even when they haven't experienced them. I hate to see someone get so upset because they aren't going to get to eat somewhere or they aren't going to get to experience like one attraction. That it just hurts my heart a little bit because Disney World is so about the entire experience and not just about one individual thing. But I will say Chef Mickey's for me is completely overrated. I know it's one of the character meals that a lot of people really are like, we need to eat at Chef Mickey's. And I think, okay. But I want to give them a little tip card. Please understand, it's going to be loud beyond your wildest dreams. if you think meals at home are chaotic, multiply that by 100 because things are gonna get.
But that's what Chef Mickey's is? It's about energy. It's about fun. It's a party.
No. I'm all about the energy. It's the chaos that is like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to leave right now. Like, it's that chaotic. Actually,
wasn't Pam supposed to be the tactful one? I feel like she's not being tactful at all.
You know what? It's somebody who taught elementary school. She's making exactly valid points.
It just feels very chaotic to me. It's overstimulating to me. So if you have a child that gets overstimulated easily, I think that Chef Mickey's has the potential to sort of push them over that cliff in a big way. It just is a lot of like by the time the napkin waving comes along, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. I mean, there will be a point at some point where, somebody with kids wants me to go with them to Chef Mickey's and I'll have to be like, no,
dude. No. I mean, look, I know that's where I got engaged. So the place holds a special place in my heart for that.
I forgot about that.
I mean, in that regard, it holds a special place in my heart. However, I will fully admit it is definitely overrated. And the reason why we went there was because everybody talked it up of, oh, you've got to go to Chef Mickey's. And so that's where we went. That was the only character meal, only ADR I think we made on that trip, and so that was why Brian chose to propose there. Like, that was it. But still, it's still overrated. Yeah, agreed.
It is. It's just a lot. It just really, it truly is. So I mean, to parents who think that they must, I totally understand why you do, but I'll start preparing my little tip card. Like, here's what it's really going to be like, and then I
won't invite you. when I go there with maybe my future kid, I won't invite you to come to dinner so that I can show off to the kid. Hey, look, this is where mommy and daddy got engaged. No, I won't invite you to that meal.
I'll rescue your child. You and Brian can enjoy a night out together at Chef Mickey's, and your child and I will go do something a little bit more fun.
Take it to California Grill and
I'll be like, whatever. Yes, I'll be like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to California Grill. We can see the fireworks. You're gonna like this.
Like, we're going upstairs.
Yes. Wave goodbye to your parents.
You got to realize, though, Brian read the Burn Bomb Guide and was doing the best.
Right, that's true.
He absolutely did. He got that. I still have that Burn Bombs guide. He stole it from the library, and so it's sitting on my bookshelf, and it has the phone number in there of where to call, and that's where he got the number, and he called Chef Mickey's and situated it all up. So.
St. Louis County Library, they want their book back.
Yeah, exactly. 2005, I don't think they're gonna want it.
Your file is so big right now.
I know, right?
Librarian never forgets.
Absolutely not.
All right, so I didn't give my. We're really getting the dining experts going. AJ from the food blog is gonna call us, but I'm gonna say overrated Ohaha.
Oh,
it's a nice restaurant, but it is expensive. Like, I didn't realize this till I went on marathon weekend. A lot of us went there and had a good time after running all those miles. And it's a great place to kind of replenish the protein. And it's got great. Here's the thing. I don't know whether I should say this or not. I just think it is very, very expensive.
Yes.
And now, because the thing is, I think it was more of a novelty for me, say, a decade ago. But now we have like a Brazilian steakhouse here in St. Louis, and it's very similar to the Ohaha experience where literally they bring around skewers of meat, but all kinds. I mean, one of them was some kind of a heart from some kind of an animal, like a little bit of thing. I don't know, a frog. It was gross. I tried it because
here's your heart of a frog, sir.
No, it was a heart from something, because I told Pam, I was like, well, I've never been on Survivor, and like, I mean, it's all inclusive. I'm like, when else am I going to get a chance to try this? Like, I mean, if I don't like it, I'll just, chase down with another piece of bacon, so, and I did, and it was gross, and I chased it down with a piece of bacon. But, we had this Toscano's place. I mean, it was half the price of Ohaha. Yes. And, and again, you're at Walt Disney World, it's going to be more expensive. And I love the vibe of the Polynesian. There's nothing wrong with Ohaha. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying you got to consider it is expensive. And it's one of those things that, I think, again, like Pam said earlier, a few people kind of get to the point where if it's make or break, if they don't get that ADR for Ohaha, which can be challenging at times, that it kind of puts them in a bad mental state, like that, I didn't get my Ohaha reservation. It's not going to be the best trip ever. And I think there's lots of alternatives to getting, very good, meets all around Walt Disney World outside of Ohana. It's a fun experience, but I just think it's I'm not saying it's totally overrated. It's a little bit overrated in my book. So there you go. Okay, let's go with one more underrated thing and then we'll get out of here before people come after us.
No, they're already
going to call me up. I know this is a great one to go into the weekend.
They're going to be so mad at us.
Is there a dot on my back? What's that red dot? Anyway,
why am I getting tased?
Exactly. I'd be like I'm a live PD. Okay, Rikki, give us one more underrated thing.
All right, so underrated. I am gonna go with the Epcot Festival of the Arts. So many people are so overrated is the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, by the way. Come at me, I know. But if you haven't been to the Epcot Festival of Arts and you have been to Food and Wine, you will understand exactly why I say those words. Because the Festival of the Arts, I love that they take so many different pieces of art and use it for the festival. So you can learn how to draw, you can learn how to do calligraphy, you can do, you can learn, there's so many learning opportunities of like how to pot plants in creative ways, or there's so many great things drawing, or you can sit in seminars with, musical composers who will tell you how they came up with their songs. You can, of course, the food is definitely an artistic form in itself. Some of those beautiful pieces of food I've ever had in my life have been at this festival, and also some of the most delicious pieces of food I've ever had. Yes, they take a little more time, but they are so good. The booths that they have around filled with artwork, the number of artists who come to this festival, who actually are there, who sign their artwork, who are, able to talk with you and things like that. This festival is truly underrated. It only lasts for a couple of weeks in January and February. And it starts after the marathon weekend, which I know why they do it, but it's so frustrating because I wish they would move it up to marathon weekend. I mean, I know exactly why they don't, but I so wish they would, because it's such a great festival. And I think if you haven't been, you are absolutely missing out. It's so underrated.
I 100% agree. And it also, it gives you more incentive to run Princess Weekend, because you get the race weekend with Festival of the Arts. Because that's how I got to experience this past year. And it was just, and the weather is perfect that time of year. It's just,
unless it rains on you all day, like it did for me. That
it was beautiful for me.
And it was cold and raining. And
It is. I mean, because I'm not a big foodie and I'm definitely not artistic at all. And I'm not a person who, really ever enjoyed art class, but I love that festival. It's just, because it's very lightweight. It doesn't feel as heavy as, especially Food and Wine, because crowds are not crazy.
Yeah.
It's on the level of kind of a slightly lighter Flower and Garden to me.
I agree with you. Yes. Wonderful. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, Pam, give us something else that's underrated.
So I'm going to say my beloved tiki birds are underrated for so many reasons. First of all, even if you don't appreciate the historical significance of this attraction, and it's a big historical significance if we're looking at the history of Walt Disney World and animatronics and all of that. The fact is, it's an entertaining show that everyone can enjoy. Heck, if you don't sing that song the rest of the day, it's catchy as all get out, right? It's a place you can sit down and enjoy the attraction. The air conditioning is always working pretty well there in that location. And I think it's just an entertaining show. It has a lot of things to watch. You don't just have the birds and the singing, but sort of all around you. If you sort of think about when this attraction was developed, right? And all of the different things that are going on in there, and think about where we are now. I mean, this is years and years and years and years later. It's still interesting to me that I think it holds up pretty well. The rainstorm is always my favorite in the middle of that. And it's just cool. It's just a cool thing. So yeah, absolutely love the Tiki Birds.
Following up on that, Pam, what's your favorite thing, like your favorite part of the Tiki room? Like, mine are the guys up on top of the ledge above the windows, the drummers that go like this. You're watching, they kind of just go like this. Those are my guys. So that's who I'm team drummer guys on the ledge. So what are you team?
So there are two things I really like. I love when the rainstorm comes up and there's lightning and stuff. I just remember as a kid seeing that and just being like, whoa, that was cool. But I really like the little like totem pole sort of guys.
Yeah.
They're so cool. I mean, sometimes I just watch them to see what they're doing. And at different times their like eyebrows sort of shift during the yes. And it's really cool. So I like that.
You know, my wife really misses the lady that pops out of the front from the under new management. She says she really liked that lady.
Really? That's
yeah,
funny.
she was all about her. She said it gave it some soul. I agree.
It did kind of.
All right, Rikki, real quick, what are you team Tiki Bird? What's your thing?
Oh man.
Do you watch the flowers?
I do like the flowers. I do. I mean, I like the flowers and I like the rainstorm, and I love, I love the four main birds. I do. I love, Fritz and Pierre and Michael, and I love them all. So yeah.
You said three. Which one did you
remember the other one? I was hoping no one would catch that.
Rikki, are you still there?
Yeah. Oh
okay.
no.
Which one did Fritz, Michael,
Pierre?
I
can't remember the name of the other.
Oh, what is this? I can't remember, Pam. Fritz, Pierre, Michael.
Doesn't it begin with a J? Jacques, Jean?
Yes, I think that's it, Jacques. I think maybe
we're losing our Disney credibility.
No, oh God, everybody's gonna judge us. Yeah.
Oh well, we'll figure it out. All right, quickly because we're running out of time. My thing that I think is underrated as a whole is Disney transportation, because I know that a lot of times we hear on social media, we hear from friends and family. You hear the stories of when you saw 3 Magic Kingdom buses go by and you wanted to go to the studios. That happens. It does happen, but when you consider the amount of people that Walt Disney World gets from place to place, resort to theme park, to Disney Springs, to the water parks, and gets them back safely every day. And also, to me at Walt Disney World, a lot of times the buses aren't super exciting. I mean, they're excited. I think that if you watch like a 3 or 4 year old that's not in a car seat, they love riding the buses because it's like freedom and they get to talk to people, and usually they're the star of the bus. But I mean, you get to ride watercraft, which you probably don't get to do at home. You get to ride monorails. You get to ride gondolas. They're unique experiences to get around. Not just to get from point A to point B, but also to kind of have a slight experience in the travel itself. And with parking fees and so forth nowadays, you have ride sharing as an option, Uber, Lyft, and the minivans and so forth. But when you think about it, that's a great added value to a Walt Disney World vacation, to know that you can get from point A to point B, and it's more efficient than I think people give it credit for. Pam, you're nodding, but I think, you have to think about that. It's really efficient for what it is.
It's included in the price of your stay, like literally included. I mean, in terms of you're not going to pay extra. You aren't paying extra to use the buses or the monorail or the gondolas. You just aren't. And I think that that's a benefit that everyone, it's there, but you don't really think about it. It's hard to put a price tag on that, but it's probably pretty large. In addition, you now also have transportation to and from Orlando International Airport, which is, that's a big deal too. There's all that luggage handling that goes on behind the scenes and all of that. Plus you have resort airline check-in, even if you aren't using that. So that's, I realize that's not transportation, but it's sort of part of this bigger thing of all these things that go on behind the scene. So I think for the most part, it is very efficient and people really benefit from it.
And it's Jose.
Jose. The easiest
Jose. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? How do we miss the main one?
Golly. I said it was a J word, right?
Yes.
So
I'm sure none of those folks that are in the live chat Googled that.
We could have totally not look stupid, but that's fine.
You're not live with a camera on your face and a captain's hat on your head. I will just tell you, that makes it more stressful.
It does.
Anyway, all right, well, that's going to do it for today's show. We want to continue the conversation over the weekend on the Facebook page. So drop by, give us something you think is overrated at Walt Disney World, something's underrated. And the thing is, it's totally your opinion. It's not anything that's right or wrong. It's just,
Apparently I'm all wrong.
No, you're not. It's just where you are. I like Enchanted Tales. You're just a couple. I get that. So let us know what you think. Drop by the Facebook page, facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Let's have some fun this weekend. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. So when it comes time for that Disney trip, whether it's a Disney cruise, head over to, go over to Europe on the Magic, or, maybe you're going to sail next year to the Wonder to Alaska, maybe, Caribbean cruise with the Fancy, or the Bahamas on the Dream, what have you. There's cruises going everywhere. Drop by the magicforless.com. You're going to get an onboard credit with that cruise. I'm just saying that because I'm wearing the captain's hat and I'm an authority because I have the hat on. So you want to make sure you have some money in the account as you get on board. That just makes you people walk around like, that guy's got onboard credit. Oh, I don't have one. Well, it's too bad for you. You could have bought a hat like this in the gift shop because they do sell them for kids. So anyway, I'm just saying, book that next cruise with the Magic for Less, get that onboard credit. And more importantly, you have a partner in the plan. They're going to take great care of you, especially Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Universal as well. So check out all the great services they offer over at themagicforless.com. And also please support our show with our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Anytime you do that online shopping this weekend, please first click through our link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at @BeOurGuestMike and at @BeOurGuestPod. And again, drop by the Facebook group at facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, we're going to be back again on Monday, where we have a replay of a live show that Rikki and I recorded last Sunday night, where we got a bunch of mini trip reports. It was really fun. We're going to try to do this more and more just to get some flavors of what's happening with you guys on your recent Disney vacations. I think you're going to really enjoy Monday's podcast as well. But until then, I hope you have a safe and fun weekend. For Rikki and Pam, this is Mike, hoping you have the best weekend ever, but do stay safe, and we'll see you real soon. Yes, I am wearing my pants, Joanne. Just, I'm wearing shorts, but I love Joanne. Yeah, I only take this out on special occasions because we're moving, so I had to wear it one more time.
Got it.
This is almost the last episode in the studio. It might be if I don't have one Wednesday night. I'm trying to do one Wednesday night.
Exciting stuff. I can't wait.
It is big doings.
Yes,
they do sell them, but you gotta go on Amazon to get the white tight pants, the whitey tighties.
Lord.
They're awesome. All right, we got to go. So I will catch you guys next week.
All right.
Good.
All right.
All right.
Stubing out.
Bye.